So today's session, we're going to be showing you the production floor execution system, and we're going to show how it integrates in with the EAM module within D365. We're going to spend more time on the EAM side, but we'll definitely show some of the production floor execution side of it as well to get all the information into there. So we're going to show how the two can work together to increase the visibility, so the machine operator can view metrics, see if a machine's scheduled to go down, see any sort of maintenance requests that are out there, and basically just have visibility of how the machine is that they're getting ready to work with. And then on the maintenance side, for them to be able to get more real-time information from the production floor as they're seeing problems that are occurring and just other things that are happening on the floor. So what we're going to walk through today is we're going to start with creating a batch order in the system. And then we're going to show you how to use the production floor execution to perform the jobs. And as we're going through the production floor execution, again, we'll show you how maintenance requests can be entered and downtime can be entered and seen, and again, how you can look at certain key metrics for the machines. Once we submit all the stuff to the EAM side, you're going to see how we can take that information and we can create work orders. We can schedule maintenance for the job. We can automate the metrics that were recorded by the production floor execution, so then they can get updated on the assets. And then we'll show you how a maintenance plan can be used to look at the counters and then perform certain preventative maintenance operations to the machines. Our business scenario today is we're going to be a small wire manufacturer in Fort Wayne, Indiana. It's where I live. We're going to have a production order, batch order that's going to go through two different operations. We're going to take the wire, and then we're going to draw it, and then we're going to take the wire and we're going to anneal it. And again, as we're going through the production steps and all that, we're going to show you how the production floor operator is going to be able, when they're on the production floor execution, to not only do their jobs, but again, see certain things about the machines and again, provide information to the maintenance crew when they see things. So we'll show you the setup configuration that's needed. We'll show you the steps in action. We'll show you again the maintenance requests and scheduling the maintenance, and then answer or ask any questions throughout the time while we're on here. We'll be watching the messages that come in, and then at the end as well, if you have any questions, we can answer those. So let's get started. So going into the system, just showing kind of the setup that we've done. So I want to show a couple things on the production side. So I'm going to go to product information management. I'm going to go to my products, and I'm going to go to release products. So I have two products that I've built for this demonstration. I have a 304B raw wire. That's a wire that we just procure from select vendors. And then we take that wire, and then we can manufacture this 304B wire. So the 304V wire, for the sake of our demonstration, I've set it up as a product master, so we can see how that runs through the system. So there's a couple variants that we've defined for the product master. We've identified the type of wire. Is it hard wire that's gone through a drawing operation, or is it soft wire that has been annealed? And then we have the different sizes that we can draw the wire down to. So we can go anywhere from 1 inch to 0.25 inches. The other setup I want to show on the production side is if I go to production control, and then I'm going to go to setup, manufacturing execution, configure production floor execution, and we're going to look at our connect configuration. And we have our all jobs, we have active jobs, and we've set up this my machine configuration. And if I click on that, there's going to be two steps in here, two actions that we can perform. We can register the downtime, and then we can request maintenance. So that's the setup on the production side. So let's take a look at the setup on the EAM side. Go ahead, Eric.
Setup on the asset management side starts with, you guessed it, the assets. So we'll jump into the asset management module on our assets, all assets, and we'll go ahead and filter the assets on the two that we need for our production operation. Let's start with FW for Fort Wayne. So our two assets are the drawing machine and the annealing machine that we're going to be using in our production operations. If we click into the asset here, our drawing machine, obviously there are a ton of configurations on this page. For the sake of time, we won't be going particularly deep on what you see here, but I do want to call out a couple of noteworthy configurations. For instance, we have up here in the action pane under work order, we can click here to view any open work orders for this asset and any maintenance downtime registered to this asset. So those are a pair of useful forms you can use to monitor the status of your assets. If we click out and look at our annealing machine, very similar setup. And here we can highlight the asset type. In this case, our annealing machine is configured as an annealer. Clicking into there, our asset type drives a lot of the functionality that's available in the production floor execution system. So for instance, here we have the different types of maintenance jobs that can be selected from the production floor execution service. The menu items that we've selected here drive what that production floor worker has available to use when they submit their maintenance request via production floor execution. We also have these counters. Chris mentioned earlier that we'd be configuring these assets to record certain metrics. These counters are what we'll use to do that. We can see on the annealer, we have a few in place already. Fahrenheit, we're capturing temperature on the device, prod hours for production hours, and prod quantity. So these are the metrics that we're interested in on this asset. And in order to capture them, we have to do some configuration on these counters as well. So we can hop back into our asset management module, and then under setup and asset types, we have our counters. Several here on the side. The ones we're interested in, again, are Fahrenheit, prod hours, prod quantity. On the Fahrenheit, we can see this gives us a little breakdown of which asset types this counter is assigned to. In this case, it's assigned to the annealer that we just saw, as well as our air knife asset type. We also have to make note of the update field, right? So what is driving the update of this counter, of this metric? In this case, we're using manual update, which means if you think about our sort of business scenario, we might have a production floor lead who is going out to the machine at the start of each shift and is manually setting the temperature that the production floor execution is going to read for that production worker, so that when the production worker shows up, they can see, oh, the counter on my machine shows 105 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what my asset should be running. That's contrasted against something like prod hours and prod quantity, where we have that update field set to, in this case, production hours. It's going to update with the actual production hours of the machine anytime that it's spent running batch jobs, or production quantity, where it's updating against the quantity of product that is run through during a batch order. The last piece that we need to make sure is configured, and it's a pretty quick one, is our maintenance downtime reason codes. So if we hop again back into asset management, setup, and work orders, here we have our maintenance downtime reason codes. And here's where if we can define the sort of menu of options available to your production floor worker when they are setting downtime on their machine. These are the options they'll have to define that downtime. Why did we need to set downtime on our annealer? Well, these are the options they'll have to choose from. And with that, I will turn it back over to Chris so we can start our sort of end-to-end process demo.
Sounds good. Let me share my screen. Let's step through the actual production process now. So going to stay in the production control module. I go to production orders, and I'm going to start a new batch order from the all production orders. So I'm going to click new batch order, and I'm going to put my 304V finished good item in. Because this is a product master, it's asking for a certain variants that it's looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the size, and I've got mine set to look at the combinations. So I could pick an individual size, but I'm going to say, okay, at this point in time, I want to choose the different size and style that I want to choose. So I'm actually going to manufacture a 75-inch soft wire through this production process. When I do that, it asks me if I want to insert the active formula route that I've got set on that variant. I'm going to say yes. So now I got my formula route number up here. We have this item set up to be batch controlled, but the system will automatically assign that for us. So we're going to keep it blank. And then for the location, I'm going to produce this into our warehouse location. And then finally, for the quantity, I am going to produce 1,000 feet of this 304V wire. I'm good with everything I have here, so I'm going to go ahead and click Create to create the batch order. So from here, I'm going to just go through the normal steps that we would go through. So I'm first going to estimate the batch order to get an idea of how much of the raw material 304V wire I'm going to need to produce. So once I've estimated it, I'm going to go ahead and schedule the jobs so I can get my resources assigned and then get the jobs created. I'm going to schedule forward from today's date, and then I'm going to have infinite capacity. So I'm not going to have the system look at any sort of how busy the machines are and how many jobs are lined up. I'm just going to act like everything is good to go. Click OK. All right. So now I've scheduled the job. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to release it to the floor. So I'm going to click the release button, click OK, and now I've released it for the production floor execution. So at this point in time, I'm going to go to my modules again. I'm going to go to manufacture and execution, and I'm going to go to the production floor execution. So from here, I'm going to sign on, put my personnel number in, put my password in, and I'm going to sign in. All right, I've got 2 jobs lined up. I've got the wire drawing job that I created in the steps that I just performed, and I got the annealing job following that. So if I click on the wire drawing job, I've added some instructions that the production floor operator would be able to see, where it's going to give them specific information of what they need to do. So they're getting a note that just says that they need to draw this down to 0.75 OD. And to make sure they don't get their hands caught in the wire, because obviously that would hurt pretty bad. So I'm going to cancel that. And at the same time, before I start the job, this is where I'm going to look at that My Machine option that we looked at a moment ago in the setup that I performed for the production floor setup. So from here, I have the option to put in the specific asset that I want to look at. So assets are going to be tied to the resources. And we'll show you that here in a few minutes, how that tie-up works, so you can see that. So I'm going to go ahead and click the magnifying glass, and I'm going to say that I want to see that wire drawing machine asset that's tied to my wire drawing resource. So I click OK. It's going to show me how many hours this machine has been running, and it's going to show me how many feet has gone through the machine. At the same time, I can see any sort of maintenance requests that have been created against it. So we had one maintenance request that was created a few days back, and it's been fixed. And as of right now, we have no downtime for this machine. So no work scheduled to be performed at this given time. To control what I see here, I can just click on this little cog next to my search bar. And then from here, I can specify which of those counters set on the asset that I want to see. And then I can define whether I want to see an aggravated view or an actual view. So we only have 2 counters tied to the wire drawing. So if I go to this third one and see what's there, you can see those 2 that I've already got selected are the ones that I can choose. So 2 is the only ones that I can tie to this particular asset. So everything looks good here. So I'm going to go back to my all jobs. I'm going to select the job, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and just start the 1,000 feet that I'm planning to produce. I'm going to start it all. All right, my job's been started. I can see in active jobs that I have a job started. And at this point in time, let's say while the wire is getting drawn, I can hear noises or just see something visual, something that just doesn't look right. So as the machine operator, I definitely want to let the maintenance group know that, hey, I think there might be some problems with this machine. You might want to take a look at it. So I'm going to go back to my Machine option, make sure I'm on the right asset, and then I'm going to click on the request maintenance. And then from here, I can put in a new maintenance request. So I'm going to put the drawing machine is making funny noises. Please take a look, making a loud screeching sound. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now I have created a maintenance request, and you can see it's right here that I just created it. So wire still looks good. I'm looking at it. It seems like it's drawing it okay. So I'm going to continue with this job. I'm going to go ahead and report the progress. And I'm going to report out 1,000 and change it to completed and report my progress. All right, got one job down. So now I'm going to go to the annealing job. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to start that. I'm going to go ahead and start 1,000 on that. So job is started. Again, while it's running, maybe I smell some smoke. Maybe something's just not looking right. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my annealing resource or asset. Same thing. There's 3 options here that I could look at. I have my production hours and prod quantity. And since this is the furnace that we're looking at, it's going to show that actual temperature that was last recorded. So as Eric mentioned, maybe someone throughout the day is just taking capture of the temperature and then recording it against the asset. So I can see it's last recorded at 105 degrees. Because I'm smelling smoke and just seeing some things that aren't right. Again, at this point, I could put a request in that basically says smell smoke. Maybe the wire's not looking right or whatever. Wire looking bad. Click OK. And then at this point in time, I'm going to stop the job because I want someone to come over and take a look at this. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. I'm going to report some progress, and I'm going to put this job on pause until we figure out what's going on. And then I'm going to go back to my machine since I've paused it, and I'm just going to go ahead and just record some downtime right now because I've stopped the machine. So I'm going to register it. And as Eric mentioned a moment ago, I'm going to put a reason code in of why I'm doing this. So I definitely want some maintenance to occur on this. So I'm going to click maintenance. Don't know how long it's going to be down, but the system will default a from and a to date for you. So I'm going to keep the from date and time with the current date and time. And then I'll just put this maybe a couple hours in the future, where in a moment Eric will show you how the maintenance crew can change that to a more actual time when they start taking a look at things. Going to click OK. And now I have registered some downtime here. So again, I could create it here, and then I can view or edit it from here if I wanted to. If I need to make any changes. So I could add another one. I could edit this downtime, or I could remove it if I want to. So that's what we're going to do on the production side. So now let's take a look at what Eric can do with all this information on the EAM side.
And really quick too, I'll just start by calling out something I forgot to mention when we were reviewing our assets. So how do we associate our asset that we've created with the actual production resource, right? The machine on the floor. We have in our assets, we're looking at our wire drying machine. We have our resource defined here with our drawing resource, which contains the resource group that contains our production unit. Let's hop into EAM and let's track down the maintenance request that Chris just finished filling out. In asset management, we've got our maintenance requests and all maintenance requests. And we'll go ahead and filter on our assets just to tidy things up a little bit. Contains FW. And what do you know? Here we've got some maintenance requests that have come in from Chris. Our existing one, and then the one that he just filled out, or the two that he just filled out. Let's take a look at the maintenance request on the drawing machine first. So a couple things to note here. It's a brand new maintenance request, so the life cycle reflects that. Life cycle state set to new. What might a production, or excuse me, a maintenance scheduler or manager want to do here? Well, they might want to send a technician out to the asset to just verify the maintenance request. Yes, in fact, this machine is making some funny noises. So we'll go ahead and verify that this maintenance request is accurate. And having done that, they might have a sense for what needs to be done and are prepared to create a work order for this job. So up here in the action pane, we have new and work order. Gives you the form to fill out appropriate information. This machine is in need of corrective repair. We could adjust our start and end times here if we want to, or we can leave them and come back to them later. For now, we'll just click OK. And having created our work order, we can see now in our Asset Fast tab, we have a work order assigned to this maintenance request, and our lifecycle state has been updated to in progress to reflect that a new work order has been generated against this request. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the work order itself. So from here, we can jump in and take a look at the maintenance downtime that we want to adjust, right? So under the asset, we have maintenance downtime, and we can add a line to determine when this asset is going to be unavailable. And we're going to say it's going to be down, and I will say starting tomorrow, it's going to be down from 9 a.m. until 12 p.m. 3 hours. And here we can fill in our downtime reason code for maintenance. Save that. If we were to back out and take a look at our annealing asset and take a look at the maintenance downtime, we can see that the downtime that the production floor worker entered is pulled directly into that asset downtime. And so from here, when our maintenance worker comes in and evaluates the job, they could adjust these to more accurately reflect what they expect the real maintenance downtime window to look like. Okay, so from here, from this point on, that work order would continue through, be filled like your normal process. And that kind of covers our ad hoc maintenance request from the production floor execution service. But what about preventative maintenance, right? What if I want maintenance performed on our drawing machine after every 1,000 feet of wire produced? So for that, we need to look to the asset counters that we set up earlier. The first thing we need to do is update them. So to do that, we can jump into asset management, periodic, assets, and update asset counters. Now, this is something that would typically be running on a job in the background. Likely, this is something you would want running pretty frequently. For now, we're just going to run it manually for our 2 assets. We'll let that run in the background and take a look at our maintenance plan. This is how we look to schedule automatic maintenance based on those counters, right? So under, again, asset management, setup, preventative maintenance, and maintenance plans. And there we go, our asset counter update just completed. We have our our maintenance plan for the drawing machine. And we can see in the lines here, it's configured to look at our prod quantity counter. And with this interval type selected, repeat on aggregated value, for every 1,000 feet of production quantity, it's going to generate a maintenance job for this resource, for asset FW101, our drawing machine. Having just completed that production order, we should have met that threshold. So we can jump into our asset management, maintenance schedule, asset management and preventative maintenance, schedule maintenance plans. And again, run a job that's going to run that maintenance plan, look for preventive maintenance that needs to be performed based on those counters that were configured, and then create a maintenance job for it. So we're going to run our maintenance plan FW101 for our drawing machine. And again, that'll run in the background. So once that has finished updating, we should see a new job for maintenance. And we'll find that under asset management, asset management, maintenance requests. Maintenance schedule, all maintenance schedule. That's where we want to go. Perfect. Okay, and that just completed. We'll again filter on our FW processes. And here we can see, thanks to our maintenance plan, we have a new maintenance job that is pulled in for our drawing machine. And then to, I guess, kind of try and tie it all back into production floor execution, if we drop down into production control and production floor execution, I'll get signed in really quick here, hop over to my machine and select FW101. We can see we have our new maintenance requested, and we have our maintenance downtime that we submitted earlier via the form, as well as updated counters for production hours and production quantity.